You're watching the Penny Hardaway Show, presented by Cook's Pest Control.
Larry Brown has earned almost every accolade you could find in the game of college basketball. We'll hear many of his stories tonight. Plus, the Tigers are coming off a COVID pause. We've got conference play beginning, and we've got highlights. All that coming your way next on the Penny Hardaway Show.
The Penny Hardaway Show is presented by Cook's Pest Control. You don't have to live with pests. Call Cook's Pest Control and get a free quote today. Conway Services, the official HVAC partner of Tiger Athletics. Tiger Bookstore, the official merchandiser for Tiger Athletics. Autozone, when you've got car trouble, you want help from number one. Get in the zone. Autozone. And is supported by your Memphis area Toyota dealers.
Not many people know this, but Larry Brown was almost the coach of then Memphis State back in the 1970s. We've got that story coming your way in a minute. But first, let's take a look at some highlights from the start of conference play.
Tigers missing 3 starters in the conference opener at Tulane. Jalen Duren and DeAndre Williams in COVID protocols. Amani Bates out with a finger injury. Malcolm Dandridge stepping up early in the front court, back-to-back buckets down low. Later, Alex Lomax turns it over. It's intercepted by R.J. McGee, and he finishes with authority. Tigers down 7 at half. Their burst of life in the second comes from Jaden Hardaway. 4 triples to keep the Tigers close. He goes off for a career-high 14. Tigers down by 1 with the clock winding down. Tulane with the ball, and Tulane with a shot clock violation. So Memphis gets the last shot. Alo runs the floor, misses the bucket. Lester Quinones' second chance no good. Tulane takes down Memphis 85-84. Memphis looking to start the new year on a better note at Wichita State, getting Duren and Williams back from COVID protocols, and Penny going with a big lineup. And it pays off. Duren with the tip-in and mid-range jumper early on. Then the ball swung out to Williams from 3 as he knocks down a triple. Alex Lomax out with an ankle injury. Earl Timberlake running the point as he gets a tough bucket in the paint. That brings us to our outstanding performance. Josh Minot, the freshman, maximizing his minutes with career-high 15 points in the Tigers' 82-64 win over Wichita State, including a poster dunk for a good start to the new year. Minot, also the Tigers' defensive player of the week, combining for 5 steals, a block, and 11 rebounds.
When did you first meet Penny Hardaway, and when did you start to respect him as a coach?
Well, unfortunately, I met him when I was coaching against him, and he was, making coaching difficult when you played, Orlando or whatever team Penny was on. I think people don't realize, the first 8 years of Penny's career, he was healthy and he's as good as any player in the league, and that was probably at the time I had a coach against him. And then when I got the Knick job, Penny was there. But at that time, I think he might have had 5 or 6 knee surgeries. He wasn't the player that we all came to understand, but he was an amazing teammate, great human being. So once he got the coaching job and talked to me about coming, it was a no-brainer. You have respect for him. You kind of knew early on that he was going to be a great coach just because of the way he played, the understanding he had. And then, I wouldn't go with anybody, but when you go on to work with somebody that you have so much respect for, it's pretty simple.
Let's go back to 1978 and 79. I've heard this story before. I just want to know if it's true. You were like this close to coming to Memphis. Something put the kibosh on it. Is all that true?
Yeah. I think, anybody knew. It was Memphis State at the time. When I was a young boy, I used to go to the NIT, and I remembered Win Wilfong. And the NIT at that time might have been as good as the NCAA or better. So I was a big fan of, college basketball. The Valley was an unbelievable conference. So I kind of had a feel for this, program in this city. And then, Van Weinberg was a real good friend. He was kind of pushing me. George Lapidus was a great writer, was kind of pushing me in this direction. I didn't have a job at the time. I had left Denver. But I thought it came too quick. It was a decision I had to make real quickly. I think Spook Murphy was the AD at the time. He was pretty persuasive. But I think if I had more time to think about it, maybe my decision would have been a little easier. Fortunately for me, about a week later, the UCLA job was offered to me, and I happened to go there.
How has coaching changed since you started and to what it is now?
It hadn't changed for me. More coaches, players are younger. I don't think the high school coach or parents have as much influence on the kids as before. When I was a young college coach, you got to know the kids' parents, grandparents, the academic advisor, the high school coach. So when you got to sign them or have them on your in your program, you understood their behavior, why they acted a certain way. Now, you don't get to know the kids or the parents as much. You have limited contacts. High school coaches, in some cases, are not as involved. It's a little different. My kids tell me it's Generation Z, which I'm trying to get a feel for that. But I'm kind of old school. I played for the greatest coaches. I don't think anybody had a better background than me. I've coached with the greatest coaches sitting next to me, like Bill Self, John Calipari, Greg Popovich. I can go on and on. So, but I'm still kind of set in my ways. I'm curious where I want to learn. I'm not afraid to teach different things, but the only way I'd ever do that if I knew how to teach it. But with social media, with the pressure young kids are being put on to maybe make their parents' life better, there's a lot of things that are different, and I'm trying to learn how to deal with it.
I was going to say, after all these years, all these different levels, Olympics, NBA, NCAA, is there things you can still learn?
Oh yeah, I mean, every day I'm with Rashid and Penny and Cody, and even being around the players, there's always things to learn. Right now, I'm watching some of our game film, and I'm learning some of the things other teams are doing that make it difficult for us. So if you don't have an open mind, you're not curious, I don't think you're going to be real successful. And that's another thing I enjoy about Penny. He has a curious mind. He's constantly trying to do better. And being around him, and that, I just enjoy that aspect. And when he asks me things, that he's curious about, I try to go back into the things that I was taught and share it with him.
We'll be back with more from Larry Brown right after this.
You're watching The Penny Hardaway Show, presented by Cook's Pest Control.
Larry Brown was lucky enough to start his collegiate career under the tutelage of the legendary coach Dean Smith. And one thing Dean Smith recognized right away, Larry was going to be a coach.
Inside Access is presented by Memphis Toyota Dealers.
Coach Smith said in your induction ceremony speech that as soon as he met you, he knew you were going to be a coach and you were going to be a great coach.
And I knew what a great coach he would be.
Did you always think you would be in this seat one day eventually, or was there a different dream along the way?
Well, my dream was to play as long as I could, but at my size, most people didn't think you'd have a chance. Thank God for the ABA, decided they could play little guys. But I'll give you a funny story. When I was drafted in the NBA, I was drafted by Baltimore. The GM came to see me, and he looked at me and he said, "You're smaller than I thought." And I was a little wise guy. My response to him was, "Well, why would you draft me?" And then he said to me, "How are you going to guard Oscar Robertson or Jerry West or John Havlicek? 3 players that are in the Hall of Fame, all big guards." And I said to him, "Well, last time I looked in the paper, they were averaging over 30 a game. I didn't think anybody was guarding them." But I didn't sign with them. Lucky enough, I made the Olympic team. And getting back to your question, I used to read Chip Hilton books. It was written by a great coach named Claire B. And it was about a great player who lost his dad. I lost my dad when I was young. Played every sport. And he was much better than me in this book series. But he had a coach named Rockwell who coached baseball, basketball, and football and taught in the high school. That was my dream. You know, I thought after I was finished playing, whichever sport, you know, I was lucky enough to play, I'd want to be a coach 3 sports, teach American history. But somewhere along the line, my path got changed, and my first head coaching job happened to be as a pro coach with Doug Moe. It was just Doug and I. We were both learning how to coach. We were coaching players our own age, some that we had played with. And, but lucky enough, my background helped me survive, and the people around me helped me get better.
Along those same lines, when you met Penny at the Knicks, did you ever foresee that he would be this kind of coach?
Yeah, I could think Penny could do whatever he wanted. He was that kind of person. He had a great feel for the game. I talk to him all the time. You know, when you're a college coach or a high school coach, you don't get a lot of input from your players unless you treat them poorly, you know, or they want more time. But when you get up and play on the level that I was lucky enough to coach, you can learn so much from the players you're around. And Penny had a great feel, great understanding. He was as good a point guard as it was in the game. It blows my mind he's not in the Hall of Fame, because you can take his first 8 years and match it up with anybody. And the effect he had on his team and the game was extraordinary. So, yeah, he had a great feel. Now you look around, years ago you didn't see many players at the highest level become coaches. Now we see more and more. And that thing that is amazing to me, guys like Penny and Patrick and Juwan, you're seeing ex-NBA players now becoming college coaches, which I think is the greatest thing. Because Penny, you know, some coaches can tell you how to behave, how to conduct yourself. He shows you every day. And his love for the kids and his love for the game is the thing that I think sets him apart.
As a coach, what impact do you hope to leave on players every time?
Well, I just want to let them know I care about them. You know, that I go every day, you know, like Rashid, like Cody, like Coach, and do everything we can to share the things we were taught. All these kids want to be pros, and I try to tell them I had a cut. I can't tell you how many 100 people I had to cut that were great players. It wasn't fun, but in some cases, I knew kids either would go somewhere else where there was a need for them, or maybe we didn't have a place, or that if they were finished playing, they had their college degree, they had a career path already set. So you hope the kids that are here achieve their dream of playing at the highest level, but if it doesn't work out, understand they have a degree from a great school and a chance to go further in their life. And you hope that as a coach, you can help contribute to that.
The city of Memphis was so excited when they heard your name announced as an assistant coach. And then in your press conference, you said you felt like this was one of the best jobs in all of college basketball. And I think Memphians just exploded with excitement and love for you because you said that. As someone who's coached at blue blood programs, why does this rival that?
Well, I didn't take the job, not because it wasn't a great opportunity, but Coach Calipari worked with me at Kansas and then came back with me after he left the Nets to be with me in Philly when this job came open. And I told John that I thought this was as good a job as anyone in the country because the interest, the players around here, and the fact that they had unbelievable tradition. And I felt John, if anybody could do a great job at a program like this, John was the perfect fit. And I feel the same way about Penny. I felt the same way about Larry Finch, Coach Bartow. It's unique. I went to a restaurant one night with the Wilfong family. I coached, young John at SMU, and I walk into this restaurant, and these ladies are walking out, and they gave me a standing ovation.
Watch out for them.
And I figured, wow, this is even more than I thought, and I had high expectations. And then knowing who you're working for and what he means to this city and how he conducts himself, it's a pretty special place.
Inside Access is presented by Memphis Toyota Dealers.
I could listen to Larry Brown tell stories all day long. When we come back, Penny Hardaway talks about the first couple of home conference games.
You're watching the Penny Hardaway Show, presented by Cook's Pest Control. Let's take a look at the Autozone road ahead.
Well, Tulsa's kind of had our number in the past. They play that little funky zone. They play a zone defense, and they've been really, really good at doing what they do. Kind of confused our young guys because we've usually had a younger team playing against that zone. Now we have a veteran mixture. It should be much better for us. We understand what to expect, and they don't hold any punches back on who they are. So they're a veteran-laden team with transfers that play a really good zone. Yeah, Cincinnati, a new coaching staff. Anytime that happens, the guys get renewed. They get renewed energy. They always play hard. They're going to mix it up from pressing full court to mid court to playing some zone, and they're always dynamic with their guards as well. It's so important for the fans to come out and support us in all of our home games and our conference. The non-conference schedule is done. We are in the thick of things right now in our conference, and we want to finish first. That first place gives you a bye, so the home court advantage is really big, where you want to win all of your home games. So I want to have all the fans come out and support us in our homestand, and we look forward to seeing you guys there.
That was tonight's AutoZone Road Ahead. AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination and official sponsor of Tiger Athletics. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Tulsa and Cincinnati will be a great way to open up the home portion of conference play. We'll put a bow on this edition of the Penny Hardaway Show in just a minute.
You're watching the Penny Hardaway Show, presented by Cook's Pest Control.
Happy holidays, one and all, and I'm so glad we had a chance to share that wonderful conversation with Larry Brown with all of you. We'll be back again next week. Have a great night, everybody.
The Penny Hardaway Show is presented by Cook's Pest Control. You don't have to live with pests. Call Cook's Pest Control and get a free quote today. Conway Services, the official HVAC partner of Tiger Athletics. Tiger Bookstore, the official merchandiser for Tiger Athletics. AutoZone, when you've got car trouble, you want help from #1. Get in the zone. AutoZone. And is supported by your Memphis area Toyota dealers.
The preceding has been a Learfield presentation of the University of Memphis Sports Network. This copyrighted telecast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield under the broadcasting rights granted by the University of Memphis. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the expressed written consent of the University of Memphis and Learfield.